so in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to draw and shade these forms. We are going to use, I'm using a really dark pencil called an ebony pencil, but you can use a yellow pencil, or, this is like a yellow pencil. This is just an HB pencil. Any pencil will do. I think the hardest thing to use is probably a mechanical pencil. I would probably stay away from using a mechanical pencil and just go ahead and use just a regular pencil to shade, okay? All right, so the things that you're gonna need beside a pencil is an eraser and a ruler, okay? We're gonna be shading these forms without smudging. So down here it says, try these on this paper, no smudging. So I don't want you to use your finger or like a shading tool or anything like that, like a stump or a tortillon. Don't use anything except your pencil. So that's the technique we're learning, how to control our pencil in order to shade from dark to light to make things look like they are three-dimensional. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start by drawing this cone first, okay? And I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to draw it, how to sketch it, and then how to use the ruler to darken the lines. But before we do that, I want you to notice something about how we're going to shade this, okay? So you can notice that I've labeled it highlight, reflected light, and core shadow, okay? So you should know and notice that a core shadow is it's an area on a three-dimensional form when there's a light on a three-dimensional form that's very, very dark. It's like an 8 or a 9 on the value scale, super dark. And for the cone, it runs from the top all the way to the bottom here, okay? Next to the core shadow are all of the midtones. And then we have a highlight. This is a really light area that doesn't get any shading. It's a spot where the light hits it, okay? And then here on the edge, there's a little bit of shading, and then back here, there's some shading too, but it's not as dark. Nothing is as dark as the core shadow. Now, the tricky part is trying to shade from dark to light gradually and not smudge, and just use our pencil to control the shading of it, okay? So I'm gonna move this paper down, and I'm gonna show you how to approach this, how to shade it in, okay? How to begin to sketch it and then shade it in. So if this was my assignment, the first thing I would do is I would begin to draw very lightly, just a light sketch of the cone, okay? All right, and you know that a cone, especially this cone, if I draw a line straight down the middle, it's symmetrical. This is a line of symmetry. And it's useful to know where that line is when we're drawing things, especially if they're symmetrical like this one. So I'm gonna put in that line of symmetry when I sketch. Okay, and then the last thing I wanna do is I need to draw this curve. Now, it's curved because a cone has a round opening on the end, right? Like an ice cream cone. If we could see through the cone, we would see an ellipse down here, right? So I want you to sketch that out too. And something that I like to do is I'll turn my paper slightly so that I can get a better angle so I can draw an ellipse. And notice that I go around and around a couple of times until it feels right, okay? And you should too. You should have lots of sketchy lines, okay? Very light. All right, so that looks pretty good. Everything looks great. I mean, one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to just draw, something like this. That's not what a true cone looks like. Don't do that, okay? Try and draw as if you could see through it. sketch it out. And then when you're ready, you'll grab your ruler or your straight edge or whatever you're doing, using to draw a straight line, and you'll darken. Okay? See? Just darken that. Okay? Then you can erase the sketchy lines, and you have something that looks pretty nice. All right, cool, right? Okay, so now time for shading. All right, and you'll notice that in the original, the image that you're trying to copy, that the shading happens on this side of the line of symmetry, and on this side it's mostly white or light. It doesn't have any shading in it except for right here along this edge. So that's what we're gonna do over here, okay? We're gonna begin by shading, and I'm gonna get really close up here so you can see what the technique looks like, all right? Because you can't smudge. So what I want you to do instead of smudging is I want you to shade in a circular motion. Do you see how my pencil's going around and around slowly, right? That's the technique I want you to use, okay? Circular motion. So we're gonna start with our core shadow, and it runs along this edge, okay? And we're gonna begin by shading and pressing down. It's about the pressure. Put all the pressure you can on the pencil, press down, and just work in a circular motion. Just trust me on that. I know it feels a little bit weird, and you're like, why can't I just go up and down or side to side when I shade, right? I don't want you to work side to side or up and down. That's not the technique we're learning. I want you to work in a circular motion, okay? So just in a circular motion, press down, okay? All right, now we have our core shadow. It's dark. And as you work this way, this is about halfway, right? As you work that way, you're gonna put less pressure on the pencil, smooth it out, less pressure on the pencil, you're gonna start to get a little bit lighter. Okay, just a little lighter as you move out. You want the gradation to be smooth, and you might go past the line of symmetry, that's fine. Just make sure you're going light. Okay, I'm putting, barely touching the surface of the paper as I move out, right? And I need to come back to this because it's not gradual enough. I need to add a few more, a little more shading here. Okay, so let me show you what smooth shading looks like versus not smooth shading. So if you're shading, you know, and then you stop and you have something like this, you see how there's a abrupt stop right there, and then it's just like it's dark and then it's light gray. Like, this is not smooth, not smooth. Okay, smooth gradations do not have an abrupt stop like that. They gradually, like a fade, they fade gradually. So you don't know where and when it starts. See how it goes smooth? This is the winner, okay? So that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make this look like it's going dark to light, all right? Same thing on this side. It needs to get lighter as we approach the edge. It's gotta be smooth. Do you see how it's not instant? How it takes time to develop, right? You just patience and time, all right? And then here along the edge, we can go ahead and add a little bit of value here, a little bit of shading here, not too much. Okay. Cool, right? When you're ready, then you will also draw a cylinder, okay, and a pyramid, and or a corner of a room. Some people say this kind of looks like the corner of a room, and then a sphere inside of a square. Okay, so to draw a cylinder like this one, you want to start by drawing an oval, an egg shape. Keep it light, sketchy. Then you're going to drop 2 vertical lines down like this, straight down. And then down here, right, there would be another oval or ellipse right there. So we're going to just draw that down here as if we could see through it. Okay, this is the sketch, right? And then when we're ready to commit to what we have, then we bring out our ruler and we darken the outline. Okay, see how it shifted? Now that I'm using my ruler, my ellipse needs to change here. It has to go here, okay? And that's all right. Okay, and the cylinder is also symmetrical. So I'm just gonna put that in there, just so I can check. All right, and then I can erase this stuff here. All right, so it's a cylinder, but it's more like a hollow tube, right? The inside here has to look like it's hollow. Let's take a look at the image again. You see how it's been shaded to look as if the inside, you can see through and on the inside. And how you make this happen is you just need a gradation from the edge, dark to light, this way, okay? And then here's just like the cone. Here's the core shadow, right? Right here's your core shadow. And as you work that way and this way, you're just gonna get lighter, okay? So let's do that.